Today I want to help you lose your belly fat and go from a body that looks like this to a body that looks like this. And I only ask one thing of you. Don't worry about subscribing. You don't have to like this video. Just give me your attention for the next 10 minutes and I'll help you change your life. So here's the thing with body fat. I want to make sure you understand this so everything makes sense. And the thing is, with belly fat, it tends to be more noticeable. It's often thought of as a trouble area. And some of that is just because more of your body fat is stored in that area, so it becomes more noticeable. But it's also the area on your body where body fat is stored first, which means it's often the last to come off. To help illustrate this, take a look at this container that's filled up with rice. If you think about when you fill up the container, the rice that goes to the bottom of it is going to go in first, but if you're to empty that container back out, the rice that's at the bottom is going to be the last that comes out at the end. Body fat works in a similar manner. It stores first in the abdominal area and therefore comes off last. And hey, this makes sense if you think about it. While certainly too much belly fat is unhealthy, however, some is necessary as you need that fat to protect vital organs, to give some of your organs energy. And understand too, there's belly fat both between your abdominal cavity and your skin and behind the abdominal cavity between that and your organs. So what this means is for many to get to the belly fat to make a significant reduction, you have to deplete a lot of your fat from other areas of your body first before it gets to your belly, and this is why it's often considered stubborn because it's the last to go and takes the longest to get rid of. But remember, genetics matter, everyone's different. Some people hold more fat in their belly, whereas other people hold it more in maybe their thighs or lower back. It can be anywhere, it's just belly fat is a bit more common. So anyway, while you can absolutely lose belly fat in a week, and especially significantly in weeks, keep in mind, especially when you first get started, you may not see much change there, and then later on, as you've depleted more body fat, you may see more significant changes, not only because a higher percentage of that is now coming from your belly fat, but also you now weigh less, so every pound you lose is a greater percentage of your total body weight, which makes it more noticeable. So with all that being said, let's go over the steps you need to take to start reducing your belly fat. And one of the most common things you probably hear is to do a lot of ab exercises, do things like crunches and ab wheel rollouts that target the abdominal area. But the thing is, these exercises aren't going to help you lose fat from your belly. They will certainly strengthen your core, and especially if you're looking to get more of a defined six-pack, you need to build up your abs to do that. So a stronger core and bigger abs can certainly help. It's just not going to target belly fat itself. Losing body fat comes by being in a calorie deficit, which means that you expend more calories than you take in. It's not about any kind of magic diet. There's endless diets out there. Pretty much all of them will work, but they all work the same way by putting you in a calorie deficit. It's just different ways of doing this. So I'm not here to bash on any certain diet, and if there's ones that you enjoy, then great. But at the end of the day, the biggest thing is how many calories you're taking in versus expending. So of course, how many calories you're eating matters, but what you could argue matters even more is having accountability. And one of the best ways to stay accountable is to start tracking. There's so many different apps out there. I don't care which one you like, whether it's MyFitnessPal or MyMacros Plus or Fat Secret or anything out there, whatever you like is fine. But what you want to do is start tracking. Don't change the way you're eating because all of a sudden now you're tracking it. No, you want to start creating the knowledge base. So take a week or so, continue to eat the same, but now plug it into your tracker and see what it looks like. This is going to teach you a lot about what's in the foods you eat, what portion sizes look like, and it can be extremely eye-opening to show you what your diet really looks like. Once you have this, now you can start making some changes, start eating more nutrient-dense foods, the foods that you often hear of as clean. I'm not going to get into that in this video, but if you watch my videos regularly, you know I'm not about good versus bad foods and not banning any certain foods, but your more nutrient-dense foods are going to be beneficial. You're going to start seeing that you're more full eating less food, which helps bring your calories down. They fuel the body well. There's a lot of benefits to them. And just pay attention for a while and see what happens. You may notice just by making changes in your food sources, getting protein up a bit, which we'll talk about here in a minute, increasing your fiber. Like I said, you're going to feel more full. You're going to feel the body well. And you may notice without even necessarily even intentionally reducing your calories, you start losing fat because you've created this calorie deficit. Now, while calories is the number one thing when it comes to nutrition, it's not everything. And protein intake is a very close second. A higher protein diet is more effective in a calorie equated diet, likely due to many reasons. One being it has an extremely high thermic effect of food, so it just burns a lot of calories as your body processes that food. It's what helps you build muscle. The more muscle you have, the more it increases your metabolism through your BMR. But it doesn't only help with body composition, it also helps you feel full. And while you may commonly hear eat around 1 gram per pound of protein, however, you don't need that much to build muscle. In fact, you can only utilize so much protein for building muscle. Again, there's other benefits besides muscle, but unless you really like protein and want to eat more of it, just take somewhere around your rough goal weight and then do that in grams per pound, and that should be good enough. So for instance, if you're 180 pounds and you want to get to 160 pounds, just starting in around 160 grams of protein. Don't overthink this. It's not that serious. The point is you want to eat plenty of protein for all the benefits it's going to give you. And honestly, after that, I don't necessarily want you to worry too much about if you should be tracking your carbs and fats. For the most part, research shows as long as calories and protein are equated, whether you prefer more carbs or more fat is pretty much irrelevant when it comes to fat loss. But it's not a bad idea to at least pay attention to it, especially your fat. You don't want to routinely be below about 30 to 40 grams of fat if you're a female, or 40 to 50 grams of fat as a male. But especially in the earlier stages, it's not really a concern. Where tracking more strict macros makes more sense is later on down the road when you've had to make plenty of adjustments, your calories are getting lower, and you want to make sure you have a sufficient amount of both. But if you really want to take things to the next level, then to get your macro breakdown, you take the protein already recommended and then eat between about 20 to 30% of your calories from fat, and then the rest of your calories is going to come from carbs. Arguably, the best form of accountability is to hire a coach who can take you through the process, not only to know what to do, but like I said, for that accountability, for someone who can be objective with you, someone who is not inside your own head talking you out of the things you know you should do. I've helped hundreds of people now over the last almost 8 years. I'd love to help you as well. And if you're interested in online coaching, then head to the website in the description, fill out an application, just watch your email for a video response. Now, of course, it's not just about nutrition. Activity matters, and I'm not referring to only exercise. Yes, exercise is extremely important. You should certainly be getting between about 3 to 5 days per week of at least 30 to 60 minutes of exercise. But outside of that, you may be amazed how little you move and how big of a difference it makes when you get yourself moving more. It's honestly pretty easy to do this day and age, and why you may be finding as you get older, it's so much easier to gain weight. It's not because your metabolism just tanks as you get older, it's because you become so much less active. So many jobs now are work from home. You sit in front of a computer all day. You can get your groceries delivered to you. You just get almost anything you could possibly ever want delivered from Amazon. As you get older, you have more responsibilities and you have to take care of kids, and now you're stuck at home all the time and barely getting any movement. It is not uncommon to see people who only average about 1,000 to 2,000 steps a day, and I see a huge correlation between people who struggle and the amount of steps they typically get on a daily basis. So that would be step number 1. Just get out and start moving. Go for walks a couple times a day, even if it's just like a post-meal 10 to 15 minute walk. Just go out, get some steps in. Just find ways to be more active. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Park at the end of the parking lot and get yourself moving more. That being said, of course, like I said, exercise still matters. And to me, the best thing you can do for yourself is regularly strength train. It gives you the best bang for your buck. Not only does it build the muscle that helps with metabolism, helps a lot with body composition, but it also keeps your body a calorie burning furnace. Not only do you burn calories from the exercise itself, but there's something called EPOC, which stands for excess post-exercise oxygen consumption, otherwise often known as the afterburn effect, where basically your body continues to burn more calories for up to 48 hours post-training. As your body tries to recover from this with cardio, your heart rate comes up, you burn more calories, heart rate comes back down, you stop burning extra calories, and you're just done. So make sure you're getting regular strength training in, make sure you're pushing yourself in the gym. Those last few reps should be challenging. It's not about rushing through it and trying to burn lots of calories during the exercise. Of course, that being said, this is what I consider to be optimal, but it doesn't mean it's necessary. And at the end of the day, what you enjoy and look forward to and will do routinely is what matters the most. If you hate strength training and you love other forms of cardio or any form of exercise out there, focus your attention on that, because if you hate what you're doing, you're never going to stick with it. Even if you do get the result, you're just going to lose it. And finding joy in the process is so important. So I typically recommend a mixture of training and cardio. Now you may be wondering, with all that being said, well, how much cardio should I be doing, especially if I want to get to that pesky belly fat? Well, I have a video that talks about that already, so make sure you check that out up top next. Otherwise, you'll probably find this bottom video helpful instead. If you're interested in online coaching, fill out that application, and I'll see you in that other video.